Hey guys, my name is Grant. I'm going to be going over today how to replace the universal joint in your front axle shaft of an '05 TJ. I have a Dana 44 with it being a Rubicon in the front, and I'm just going to go through how to replace that. I discovered the cap of my universal joint on the driver's side is missing, so luckily I caught that before it exploded or caused some sort of damage while it got bound up. So anyways, I'm just going to go through that. It should be the same for the passenger side. The only difference would be the length of the shaft would be longer on the passenger side than it is on the driver's side. So I'll go ahead and get you in on a close-up so you kind of see how it got noticed, and then we'll go through all the steps in order to replace it. It's really not too bad, and I'll even drop a cool diagram here real quick so you can see the how I figured out what universal joint I needed for that specific part of the Jeep. Alright guys, so I'm looking in here right now. This is the driver's side, and you can see right there I'm missing a cap. So I got real lucky that I found that. That's normally how it would look. So it could depend how you park. You didn't see that. My buddy Dan was riding along with me, and he's like, "Oh, you're missing a cap." I'm like, "I sure am. Gonna have to get that replaced." So this has probably gone about 500 miles like this, because I heard a pop, but I couldn't figure out what it was, and I checked everything real good, and I didn't notice this. So I got real lucky here that I didn't get stuck somewhere. So yeah, this is how you would notice it. Same goes again for the other side. So we'll go ahead and set you up so you can see how we replace this. It's really not too bad. You kind of have to see these bolts here. Those will be part of the process in order to get this whole unit out of here. All right guys, so the first couple steps that I didn't show is you just need to jack up your Jeep so you can get the tires free spin here. That way you can get the wheel off and the tire. Also make sure you obviously chalk up the vehicle so it doesn't roll away on you. So we'll go ahead and take these off. I took a couple lugs off already. Underneath the Jeep, I'll protect you. Alright, so the next step is you're going to go ahead and take the caliper off. Something to think about is where you're going to paint it. If you have like a little S-hook here, you can put it right here to the frame and paint it here. Normally, I just kind of set it right here, and it seems to work just fine for me. For my particular setup, it's going to take a 13mm wrench that seems to be the best fitting on the two bolts right here. I'll go ahead and give you kind of a close-up of what that looks like, so you can kind of see the two bolts. All right, so the two bolts on the caliper here. It's the caliper. It's going to be right here, and the lower one's going to be right down here. And you can see the 13 just fits right on that. So it just fits right there. Pretty tight fit. So go ahead and take that off. I'll let you watch. All right, removing the caliper now. And you could use sockets too if you wanted. I have a ratcheting wrench, so that seems to work pretty well for me. Either fully remove them or just pull them up enough to get them off. Go ahead and just remove the two guys there. Alright, there it is. Just pull the tucker in right here like I normally do. I got a longer brake line since factory, so it makes it a little easier. Next thing you'll do is remove the rotor. You can go ahead and set that on the side somewhere. Probably facing up, that way you don't scratch it. Alright, so the next step after taking off the caliper and then with that 13mm wrench, or you can use a socket. And then taking off the rotor, is to take off the, remove this cotter pin here, remove the shield, and then take off the axle nut. And then we go ahead and remove this hub assembly off of here, so then we can just have the bare shaft to pull out. Technically, you could keep this hub on, and then you would just pull the whole, you just take off the 3 bolts in the back here. It'll just make it easier to work with, and it's easier to do right now while we still have the bolts in. So we'll go ahead and do that. Just got some like needle nose pliers here to remove this cotter pin here. Should be just fine to grip it, hopefully. Sometimes it can give you a little trouble. There you go. Just got a bender straight up. Like that, there we go. It helps to wiggle at the same time you're pulling there. There we go. So we got a new one of those, so you can just toss that to the side there. So you have this little shield here, and there's this like kind of like a sprain washer, I guess you could call it. All right, then we got to go figure out what size axle nut we need there. So I'll go ahead and go get my axle sockets there. All right, looks like it's 36. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing out. One axle nut removed. Again, that was a 36 millimeter. So, all right, so now we can go ahead and take the 3 bolts off the back. So there's one here, and one over here. I'll go ahead and show you. All right, so there's going to be one here. Again, it's 12 point. One here, and then one right there as well. Because it's 12 point, you need a nice 12 point socket or wrench. In this case, I have a 12 point ratcheting wrench, and I was able to break those loose. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and get this off here. This one fell loose. This is where like a 90-degree, one of those air ratchets or electronic ratchets Milwaukee makes or something would be handy. But do it the old-fashioned way works just fine too. Alright, there's number 3. So this whole assembly, see it's loose now. So there, you got that going for you. And that is the benefits of being, I guess, in the Pacific Northwest. It's not all rusted together. You can see there's like there's a washer here, so just be aware of that. And this whole assembly with the dust shield comes out. Just also make sure that you put your dust shield on in the same orientation that you took it off. It should really only fit one way for the most part. I mean, you can see here. You can put it on wrong, so just make sure you keep the orientation correct. Kind of have an idea of how it went on. It's kind of obvious though when you're putting it back together. All right, boy, shaft extraction time. Go ahead and pull this out. So you can see this side is a pretty short shaft. The passenger side would be longer. And yeah, you can see there's a lot of play in here. Some things to think about: be careful with your splines here in the end. You don't want to beat those up. Yeah, there's no clips on this one, so you can just pull it right out. So go ahead and get this all set up in the vise to beat the universal joints out, and then yeah, we'll move on from there. Alright guys, I kind of got this set up down here so you kind of see on the opposite side here we have the cap that fell out. Basically we want to push this up so this cap comes up, and then we can pull it off, and then we'll go ahead and we'll work these other two caps off at the same time. Some things to think about here is there's clips in here, so we're going to have to pull those clips off first before we can do any of that punching. So go ahead and I'll go get a pick so we can get those out of there. We're going to be hammering. Don't mess around with hammering. Things can come off, get in your eyeballs, so make sure you wear your safety glasses for real here. You don't want a chunk of metal in your eye. So making progress on this clip here. So got one clip out. Go ahead and get the other two out right now while we're thinking about it. Two. I have this nice punch here, chisel. It's nice, striking, seemed to work just well for this. You can use a screwdriver too. So we'll go ahead and get these off now. It's punched out of here, so we got this one. We're going to face that down. You can see already wants to come out. This is our dust shield, so we'll go ahead and try not to hammer on that. Go nice and easy. Same on this side. Alright, so like 20 millimeter impact socket. Pretty good for this. There you go, much better. So it's starting to come out here on the other side. You're going to punch this out until the other one cap comes out, and we'll punch it the other way, and we'll be home free here. See, we lost that. This cap is out of here. Don't think we're going to get lucky in the sense that we're going to get it out like that. So we're going to have to punch it back through. Then we'll be home free. Because we don't care about this U-joint anymore, I'm just going to beat on that. So you don't want to mar this up, so just be aware of that. I was using a 10mm. Again, it just fits perfect right on there for a beating. There we go. Other cap's out. Should be set now. So again, we made our marks. We should be able to line these back up when we want to. Right here and right here. Set this turn out of here. There we go. There's one. These little dust shields sometimes make it fun. Alright fellas, so this is the problem I'm having. I can't get the U-joint out because my ear on the left hand side here is kind of bent inward and kind of twisted. Right there you can see how it's bent inward and twisted. This one's parallel, this one's definitely not. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the U-joint, and then we're going ahead and plan to beat this one more parallel and try to get it untwisted and kind of unfuck it there. So we'll go ahead and try that. I'll probably end up ordering an extra shaft just to have with me, especially winter wheeling, and that way I can you know, just not be left in the woods somewhere. But this should work once I get it all straightened out. So I'll go ahead and cut this out and then start straightening it. Alright, so there we go. We got her cut off, and then now this part is out. We'll go ahead and figure out how to beat this thing more perpendicular to its partner here and kind of unfuck it. Alright, so I got her looking pretty good now. Let's see, which side was the bent one? It is this right side here was the bent one. You can kind of see it's still slightly bent, but it's pretty good. What I did is I heated it up a little bit with my propane torch there, and I put it slips right in here, kind of like that. I have a 1/4 inch piece of flat bar here, and that should keep it parallel. And then I had this piece of scrap aluminum, so I didn't beat the heck out of the top of it, and then I just beat on it with my huge hammer until it became parallel, or more parallel. And then I knew I had gone far enough when I was able to slip. So this is the end we cut off, right? So this other end should be about the same size. So I knew I went far enough when I could fit the new one in, and just like that. So it's in now. So I'll be able to fit the new part in there. That should be good enough. My plan is, since I lost a cap, it's probably the last time I run this. The universal joint, as long as it doesn't fail, should last a good long time. So my plan is I bought a new shaft. I'll put the part number for it. It's just a Dorman one. So yeah, you can see it comes out pretty easily now. We'll see, I guess, you know, how hard it is to punch in the new caps and if they feel like they're gonna stay retained in there or not. If they feel loose, I'm gonna just tack weld them on the ends. And I'll kind of show the end process of that. I have to do that and just put a small amount of heat as I can there to hold the cap on, just so I make sure I don't lose another cap. And then, you know, there's still a lot of life left in this shaft, you know, so I might as well use as much as I can. I kind of bent it, so I punched it back out there. This Jeep, I mean, I haven't had this forever, so some of this is other people's fun times on here, but I did drop it once on that, so you can see it's fresh metal, so it's kind of my mess up there. But yeah, everything's fine. So go ahead and start putting this back together and She'll be driving down the road again in no time. Alright, so time for assembly here. I got my new U-joint. I'll pull these guys off, caps. I'm just going to pull all of them off. So just gotta be careful because you see the little needle bearings in there. You just don't want to get one crooked, so just be aware of that. That's what to be worried about. As long as you're just aware, you kind of push it out like that. Just kind of go on. You can feel it if you do it correctly. All right. So nothing to be fearful about. This is the one we were fucking around with, so. We'll see how this goes back on. Push the old girl in. So, kind of want to avoid that. Ideally. So it might hold up a little bit of pressure there. So I don't want to get one of those needles loosened, you know. We're going in there. Okay, we're going in pretty good now. Alright, so you can see we've got it pushed in here. You can see the groove here. And we'll put in one of the new lock rings in there. So here should come with new ones too. Then pull one out, put it in. Alright, got one in. And sticking slightly out. Just kind of what we want here. Help us align the other one on. Just gotta be smart with it. I'm gonna punch this out a little bit extra this direction. It will help us get this lined up a little better. 19mm here, please. Probably almost enough. Yep, that is good. Alright, tap that in. of taps. We might be able to get this in. So you can kind of put it in like sideways, see what you're doing there. Alright. Need just a little more love in here. Good now. Alright, looks like it went down in its groove. This one's all happy. Alright, I like it. Alright, time for the other side here. Just because I'm used to working this way, I'm going to go ahead and put this over here like this. Same thing for this side. Eat them in. There we go. I said just to want to avoid any dirt inside the bearing, obviously. Cap. Go. Head. Push her down here. We had happen what we didn't want to have happen. So that's okay, that happens sometimes. So we just gotta hand place the needle bearings back in there. Just make sure we aren't missing any. Tighten the other rings. We are missing one, so that is extra fun. There it is right there. Let's make sure it's clean without dirt on it. Alright, good as new, no panicking, it's not a big deal. Just go back in there. Make sure there's no other ones because it looks pretty tight there. You obviously want to line your marks up too, so you have it lined up. There's no needle bearings in there. Sure there's any down here. Look like there is. Some good times. like there's any more missing. Very sure of that. Alright, ready for a reattempt. So just give the whole little up pressure. Alright, so that should be a little extra far, which is always a good thing. That'll help us start the other one. The clip on it. Same thing with this one, just be careful with your needle bearings. That slipped in. She's going to seat it in. Now if one was to fall, it just would obviously not compress as far down as it needed to, and then you'd know you probably had a lost needle bearing. Okay, and there's another needle bearing. So that one was missing one more. So we're going to go ahead and pop that other side out. I was wondering, it kind of looked like it might have been missing one, but I didn't want to stress too bad about it. So now that we see it, so I just kind of took that spring off. So we're going to push this one all the way through like we were going to extract it. And then we can put that extra one in that cap. So see that little gap in there? I was a little worried about that because the other one didn't look exactly like that. So I just saw the needle bearing I thought I needed to still find. So see, even if you do that, it's still recoverable. So just slip it in there. It's not a big deal. There you go. Okay, so see, there's just basically no space in there. That's what you're looking for. So I'm gonna set that back up there. Now this one's cap is just like that. We can do this is we can just do this the reverse way. We'll put a clip on it so it's ready to be seated correctly. Alright, we got a clip on it. This is sticking out, it's almost easier this way, I guess, another way. Okay, that fit on, good. So, we're in like this. Just want to make sure it's lined up on the bottom. Okay, that is going back in. Doing just fine. Want to sneak up on this. This isn't touching yet. And watch the space on here. Okay, it's nice and tight there. And it looks to me like our last clip should fit in now. the shaft feels pretty good. Trick, if it doesn't, is you can just kind of hit here and here. Do the same up here. Do a little tap right here. Right there. She's all nice and loose now, not stiff in any direction. Just check in to make sure all of the walk rings are seated well. You'd hate to do this and then have it not be seated. It looks like we have successfully rebuilt this. Now the only thing, looks like there's a bit of a gap here where we were beating on it. So I kind of have two options. I could put a little weld here, like tack weld here and here, which probably would be the best idea for me in my situation. Or you could try peening it, which we just been working some metal over it so it doesn't slip out again. Alright guys, so I just went ahead and gave each one 2 little tacks. Should be good enough. It still wiggles just fine. I don't think I screwed up the universal joint at all. I mean, seems fine. So we'll see. Doesn't seem overly stiff at all. There you go. That feels good. She'll wearing down the road. None of the shields melted, and everything looks fine. So, I mean, my welds are fine. I ground out a couple. They got a little blotty there, but she'll hold. And yeah, and if you really had to, you could just grind these off and, you know, reuse it how it is. So it's not ruined per se. So I'll go ahead and get set up. You can, it's just the reverse to get this all back in. Alright, so time to get this all put back together. So got my tube cleaned, it's gonna be just fine. I just gotta line this up, try not to, you know, hurt your seal on your inner seal here. Worked out pretty well for us. Alright, go ahead and we'll put this back on. Be a good idea to put some never sees here. It might still have some remnants of it. Or anti-seize, whatever the hell you want to call it. Alright, so got the wheel hub assembly in there, so time to just, you know, torque it down. I'll let you look it up, the torque specs for your particular Jeep. I like to check it a second time after I get them all tight. Alright, for my Jeep it was 75 foot-pounds. That's what I'm personally doing. From my research, that's what it looks like. The thing we should probably do here is put this back on. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and torque this now. Put it in 4-wheel drive. Alright. I did 175 foot-pounds for me personally. Alrighty. I'll put the spring washer on there, whatever you want to call it. Alright, got my new cotter pin. I'll put a link in there for a nice, very high value kit that doesn't cost a lot. So, go ahead. Alrighty. The last thing we gotta do here is put the rotor on and then torque that down. Alright, so that's on there. Take a caliper, a caliper pull, where we set it over here. Alright, I just had to go and find my dielectric grease. I like putting a little grease inside the shoulders of the bolts here because they slide inside the bushings. So it's my personal preference. I do that. Don't have your brakes drag. Alright. So, go ahead and do that. This turd back on here. I'm trying to give you guys a good view, but I'm going to have to adjust here. Alright. It's much better. Alright. There we go. And they're captured here, and you kind of roll it on down to the bottom here. Alrighty, that should be golden. Alrighty, in there. It's threading in just fine. Now my buddy has the same model Jeep as I do, same year and everything, and he has a couple different sizes. Instead of his lug nuts being 19 millimeter, his are 21 millimeter. And then he said that his caliper bolts are 12 millimeter instead of 13. So, you know, I'm not sure who's changed from factory, mine or his. So just be aware, you might need a slightly different one, different size wrench for this project. But these would be a good tool set to have in your Jeep, so if you ever needed to do this on a trail, you could. Look up your own torque specs, don't trust me. Just what I am doing, right? Not what you have to do or should do. All right, there's 12. see how that feels with the wrench. Feels a little light to me, so I'm gonna give it, why don't we try 20? It feels a little light to me. Let's see what 20 feels like. There's 15. There's 20. Not 20. There's 20. Alright, like that. We're going to 30. Won't be much happier with 30, I think. That's feeling more like a caliper bolt torque. Alright, let's see how the wrench feels. Again, just use your head, right? It's a bolt. Alright, yeah. Yeah, that feels good. 30 is what I'm gonna use. What I found online was 12. I was like, yeah, I don't know about that, or 11. I don't know. So anyways, 30 is what I'm going with. 35 even would probably be okay too. We'll go with 30. Couldn't feel it was cross-threaded, but these were the ones that came with my Jeep. I must say I'm the happiest with the wheels. Such a tight fit in there with the socket. I don't know, there's no other way but it to be on the, you can do that, I guess. That would be a way to do it by hand. There we go. All right. So finish tightening lug nuts, push down on the rest, tightening, increase leverage, 130 Newton meters and 95 foot-pounds. So cool. Go ahead and go 100. Nice and even. Book said 95. It'll be fine. All right. Just remember crisscross pattern. There's one. Ideally, you would put this down on the ground. I need a bit of an extension. Using an extension, 5 more than it is. We're on 4-wheel drive, tires locked up. And there's 2. There's 3. There's 4. Make sure we didn't miss any. Alright. Well, that's complete. Go ahead and take you guys for a drive. We should be good to go. Make sure you take your jack stand out, lower your vehicle, and then remove your wheel chocks and take it out of gear if you put it in gear. So, alright, I'm going to clean my tools up and we'll go for a ride. So far, so good on the fix. It feels real smooth. I'm switching to 4-wheel drive real quick because I got 4-wheel drive on the floor.